Hey guys, welcome to another PHP lesson. Last lesson we managed to establish connection to the online database, and we created a table. So if you have forgotten, basically we had a file called connectdb.php, and in that file we not only established connection to the database, we also created a table in that database called members, and the table had three fields: ID field, login field, and a nickname field. And what we want to do now is create another file called signup.php, and in this file we establish a connection to the database and save it in the variable called connection. And now what we also want to do is design a registration form, a sign up form that allows users to add themselves to our database. Now before we start, let's just design the form to start off. So obviously we want a form, a database form, and the method is post, right? Because we're posting information to the server. And I'll just do the basic structure first, and then we'll add stuff later on. So what are some things we want to say in our form? Well, let's firstly say that this is our sign up form. So sign up form, and the first thing we want is we want them to say what their login name is. So login name, and then obviously we're gonna let them input that information, and we're gonna name this text box, we're gonna call it login with a capital L. Okay, and then let's put in a break. And then we also want their nickname. So input type equals text, name equals nickname. Actually, I'm not going to make the L capital because that goes against the convention that I've set up for naming. And then I'm going to put in another break, and obviously I need a submit button. So I'm going to put in a input type equals submit, and if you remember from a couple of lessons ago, we talked about if you have a form and the method is post and you want to post it to the same file, which is what we're doing, we need to state what the action is, and that is from our compound interest file. We said that the action is equal to self, and I'm just going to copy and paste that here back into my sign up form, and so the action is equal to the same file that we're executing the script from. And obviously the form tag needs to be outside the PHP tag. So if you load this file now in Internet Explorer or Chrome or whatever it is, if you load this form, you can see that basically it says connection established because we established a connection at the beginning. And we got the sign up form. We let the users input their login name. We let the user input their nickname. And we click submit. Now, if you click submit right now, it's not going to do anything. Right, it doesn't do anything. Right, because we haven't put in the code to add the data to our database. So let's start doing that now. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to determine whether the information has been posted. So we're going to say if is set, so that means has this variable been set? It's like the opposite of empty. So we're checking whether the post variable has been set, and within this global post we have our login elements, and so let me close the bracket here. Okay, so if that login value has been sent to the database, then we're going to well, firstly, we don't really need to connect to the database if it hasn't been set. But anyway, the database has already been connected. So what we want to do is say what the SQL statement is. So the SQL statement is we're gonna select actually we're just gonna insert it right away. So we're gonna insert into, now our table was called members, so just want to check that. Insert into members, and it was the login and the nickname those are the names of the fields. Values, put a bracket there, finish the quotation mark. Oh, you need to put a single quotation mark first and then finish your quotation mark. Put a dot, and you need to put a $ underscore posts. Right, that's the information that we posted from the login element of the array. And then we're going to put in a dot put a single quotation and then a double quotation, put in a comma, and then a double quotation, so let me check with the quotation marks. Just let me think about it for a second. So after the comma, you're going to put a double quotation mark, a single quotation mark, and then a double quotation mark, and then you're going to put in dots, $, underscore, posts, and then you're going to put in square bracket, and you're going to put in single quotation, nickname, single quotation, close the bracket, put in a dot, and then you're going to put double quotation, single quotation, bracket, double quotation. And then you're going to finish the bracket. Yes, this should be right, but it's coming up with a little error. So, so let me try to find out where the error is. Okay, so basically, let me just explain this to you. Whenever we have a quotation mark that is a double quotation mark, what we're doing is we're formulating the SQL statement within the double quotation. Now the single quotation or the apostrophe is part of the SQL statement that we must use to enclose the fields or the information that we're inserting in the fields. So here we're using single quotation here that signifies the statement is coming up next. Now we need to close off the quotation with a double quotation because that is the end of our statement so far, and then we're going to append using the dot, append the login value from our super global variable post, and then we're going to append, and then we need a double quotation after this dot first, not a single quotation, a double quotation, and then we're going to say apostrophe, and then the comma, and then a single quotation, and then a double dot, the nickname dot, and then we're going to have double, single, bracket, double. Okay, so that concludes our SQL statement. And the next thing we're going to do is insert it to my to execute this statement. Execute this statement by going MySQL I underscore query bracket connection SQL. Alright, just let me check that this is the same thing as we did with the previous statement. MySQL I query. Yep, it is. And let me just copy this part here. to our sign up form. So we can say that we're putting this in the variable result, and if result is unsuccessful, then we're going to echo record not inserted, else echo record inserted. Okay, so hopefully this will work, and then we will close our connection. So MySQL underscore close the link, the connection. Did we do that in our last file? Just let me check. Yes. So we're gonna do it again. Now this should work. So let's run this file and see what happens. So first let's refresh this file. It shouldn't be inserting any records if there's no information. Actually, let me just close this first. So I've just closed my browser, and now I'm going to open up the sign up file again, and notice how it doesn't do anything because it's the first time I'm opening it, so there was no information posted. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type some information. So my login name, let's call it Buzz, and my nickname is going to be Buzz Lightyear. Alright, so if I click submit here, click submit, let's see what happens. Let's go. And now it says record inserted. So let's try putting in a few different login names. Let's put in Annie3, a nickname. Let's call it Annie Liao. Okay, just making up weird, not weird, making up last names. So click submit. So I'm gonna go submit, and let's refresh that. Actually, so I've got two records. Let's make another one. John 3. Let's call it John Burger. Okay, and then submit. Notice how it keeps saying record inserted. So we've inserted 3 records. And now we want to go to our SQL database and just see whether the records are there. So we're going to go to localhost without anything after that. Go to PHP MyAdmin. And then we're going to log in with our login name. And then we're going to open up our test database, go to our member table, and you can see there are 3 records in our member table: Buzz, Annie 3, and John 3. So we have successfully inserted records to our database. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.